Hello, welcome to Correctional Officers in the News, where we talk about everything that's going on in corrections. Today, I would like to focus on New York City. Everybody has heard of Rikers Island. It's one of the largest penal complexes in the world. As of late, they've been in the press. Today, we see an officer with his arm slashed by a scalpel. An officer was trying to get a tray from an inmate. The inmate attacked the officer. The officer was fighting with this inmate. Another officer saw what was happening. He got involved, and the inmate pulled out a scalpel and slashed the first officer's arm. Earlier last week on Rikers Island, an officer's face was slashed. And I reported on this in my last video for those of you who haven't seen it. This is a video that was taken inside the jail showing this officer's face being slashed. He's at the cell door. He's getting ready to open the food slot. He opens the food slot, and as you see, the inmate reaches his hand out and slices the officer across the face. For the last 2 years, the media has been serving up a constant diet of all the things that are wrong with Rikers Island. They are trying to turn public opinion against correction officers, and they're trying to turn public opinion against the idea of having Rikers Island as the place where inmates are housed. The media is pushing this false narrative that Rikers Island is broken, it can't be fixed, and the only thing we can do for the health and well-being of the inmate population that's there is to shut Rikers Island down. A movement has developed because of the media's persistent portrayal of Rikers Island. And you have people now that are protesting Rikers Island and standing at the foot of the bridge and blocking traffic and advocating for it to be shut down. I hope that they have the best interests of the inmate population at heart, but I understand that they don't even know what's going on at Rikers Island. I mean, most of them have never even been on Rikers Island. And the ones that have been on Rikers Island that are part of this protest appear to be ex-inmates from Rikers Island. So, I excuse the people who are being led by the media that believe that this is, the right thing to do, but it's not, and I'm going to explain why. This is an aerial view of Rikers Island. It is literally an island surrounded by water, which is the East River. If you are truly concerned with public safety and the safety of all citizens of New York City, Rikers Island, without a doubt, is the safest place to have your inmate population. So, why is the media trying to convince the people of New York City that Rikers Island should be shut down? Well, the answer to that question is, in my view, that Rikers Island is prime real estate. It is in close proximity to Manhattan and LaGuardia Airport. And the real estate developers that control the media and control our politicians here in New York would love to take this public land and have it converted to private use so they can build condominiums, office buildings for rich and wealthy individuals. Here's an article from Crane's Business Magazine from February of 2016 saying Rikers reimagined. Innovative ideas to turn this infamous island into a New York destination. Moving the jail could create a world of opportunity. And then they go into the different things that they are planning to do with Rikers Island. And none of this has anything to do with public safety. None of this has anything to do with helping the inmates. It has everything to do with lining the pockets of the real estate developers in New York City. Just 2 weeks ago, the city talks about this plan to move all the teenagers off of Rikers Island.
Advocates and the Justice Department have said Rikers Island is no place for 16 and 17-year-olds. Now Mayor de Blasio is proposing to remove them from the infamous jail. Glenn Martin is...
The mayor, Bill de Blasio, who was elected in 2014, has been doing things that are not in the best interest of correction officers and not in the best interest of the inmates. If you're concerned about the safety and security of the staff as well as the inmates on Rikers Island, the first thing you don't do, you don't hire someone who is not qualified to be the commissioner of the correction department. And in my opinion, that is exactly what the mayor did. He hired Joseph Ponte to be the commissioner of the New York City Department of Correction. The New York City Department of Correction is huge. As I stated earlier, it's one of the largest penal complexes in the world. Joseph Ponte is not qualified to run the New York City Department of Correction. Before he was appointed by Mayor de Blasio as the commissioner of the Department of Correction, he was the commissioner of the Maine Department of Correction. The Maine Department of Correction has 2,300 inmates, has a capacity to hold 2,500 inmates. One jail on Rikers Island holds more than 2,500 inmates. No disrespect to Maine Department of Correction, and no disrespect to Joseph Ponte. I don't know him personally. He probably means well, but he is not ready for this. There are a number of chiefs, assistant chiefs, wardens, deputy wardens that are more than qualified to run the New York City Department of Correction, who know the system inside and out, that was skipped over by the mayor, who went to Maine to recruit Joseph Ponte. And now you're seeing the results of that decision. Before I go, I would be remiss if I didn't mention this gentleman right here. This is Norman Seabrook. Norman Seabrook was the New York City Correction Officers Union president. He is a very strong advocate for the concerns of correction officers. He is a very powerful force in New York City politics. And he is the most powerful correction union leader in the country.
My job is to make sure that when you go to work, you come home the same way. My job is to make sure that you are not attacked, that you are not slashed, that you don't have urine and feces thrown on you, that you are not spit on, that you are not abused. I don't care so much about the 14-point plan, except for number one on the plan, your safety. That's all I want to talk about is your safety. I don't want to talk about nothing else right now. I want to talk about what do I do with that inmate that slashed his face? Where do I put that inmate that cut this officer in his face? I don't want to hear about closing CPSU. I don't want to hear about he's 17 years old, his mind isn't developed. His mind was developed when he cut him in the face. His mind was developed when he shot that 5-year-old in the head to get him in jail. I don't want to talk about that. I want to talk about what we're supposed to do. We have a job to do. We're going to do our job. But they have a job to do too, and that's keeping us safe. We are entitled to the same safety, the same way that you see the people on this stage want to go home looking the same way they came to work. That's the same way we deserve to go home every single day.
And you know what just happened to him? He was arrested and he was charged with accepting bribes. He was charged with corruption.
That's all it is an allegation.
Did you receive that money?
No, I did not. I'm fighting the city, fighting government, fighting for the rights of correction officers, and I'm going to keep doing it.
Now, I don't know whether he did it or not. I don't think he did it. I think that if you want to take over Rikers Island, the first thing you would probably need to do is get rid of him. You would probably need to get him out the scenario because he's powerful, he's smart, and he understands that if you are really about the safety of New York City, you need to leave these inmates on Rikers Island. So he is going to block any type of movement, any type of policy that is going to shut down Rikers Island. And they know that. So they had to get him. I hope that he's innocent. I hope he can prove his innocence. I think that the city is working fast to try to turn the public opinion against Rikers Island and close Rikers Island before all of this plays out. I would love to hear your comments on this. This is Correctional Officers in the News. Be safe and peace.